Okay, I'm just giving a quick presentation on behalf of BC Marine Trails. And I'm going to share a little presentation that I did up for a workshop that we did previously. And let's see if I can pop it up here. Give me a moment to get set up here. And the reason for presenting this to you folks is to just make you aware of this program that we're working on for BC Marine Trails, what we're doing, why we're doing, how we're doing it, in the hopes that a few people there will be inspired to take part, because it just needs people in order to do something quite fulfilling, I think, which is completing the marine trail system for the British Columbia coast. So this is adopted from a workshop I gave. I'm just going to breeze through it quickly. What we're doing through BC Marine Trails is trying to create a system that's optimized for safety. And so it's working on a few principles that we've established. And the basic one is that 2 campsites should ideally be within 8 nautical miles of one another, but no farther apart than 12 nautical miles. So there's a bit of flexibility right there. In addition to that, we've got the concept of safety stock. So if we have 2 sites that are 8 nautical miles apart, we should have a safety stop in between. And a safety stop should be never farther than 5 nautical miles from any site. So there's some flexibility that's built into that, so that we can actually have 10 nautical miles between 2 campsites with a safety stop halfway in between, and still be within our optimal safety mandate. So basically, there's a great deal of flexibility. We're implementing this on the Discoveries and Mid-Island Coast region this year, in large part because we've been doing our First Nations engagement strategy in this area. And so we've got good ongoing relationships with all the First Nations in this area, which is quite phenomenal. It's been a really, really successful program. And so what we're getting through that is the social license from First Nations to be able to use sites, basically sites that have been cleared for First Nations cultural and archaeological considerations, which is a huge victory, because we're way farther ahead on that process than even BC Parks is at this point in time. So I can't say enough good things about that. So this is the area we're concentrating on for 2021. So it's essentially north of Campbell River and Lund up to Port Hardy. So anywhere in this area. And so what that looks like in terms of a marine trail system is, if you connect all the dots, these are essentially the routes that we're looking at completing. So we're looking at implementing the safety mandate along all these blue lines. Unfortunately, well, actually, and then once, in addition to that, if you overlay an optimal routing, this is what it looks like. Basically, we could complete the marine trail system through this region with about 180 sites. It's not incredibly difficult to complete, which is the encouraging thing about it. Basically, it's a very realistic goal all of a sudden to complete this. So this is sort of a perfect picture of what the marine trail would look like if it's complete. It doesn't look like that right now. What we've got is a huge inventory of sites in our database, but they're not configured to any safety mandate. So they're just a hodgepodge of sites located all around the coast. And the other difficulty that we face with BC Marine Trails is that 2/3 of the sites are not shown to the public because they're not assessed. We don't know if they're suitable sites. Basically, it means there are 2,000 plus sites that are question marks. And so we don't know if they are usable or not, if they apply for the marine trail system, what their status is. And so there's a bit of work to be done. So in terms of taking these lines and these dots that we had and taking a closer look, we can see that we've got marine trail sites that show up, and not necessarily in relation to any particular locations where they were on the map. So basically, these blue dots here are the same blue dots that are showing up here. So these are where the sites should be located, ideally, within a range. And these are the sites that we've got. So what we've been doing at BC Marine Trails is packaging optimal potential locations, sort of taking a look at what sites could be grouped into what area that fills the safety mandate. So here we've got a perfect match. This is the Birdwood group. And it's just, it's a formal site. And if somebody mutes, they're getting some accordion music in the background here. We've got a perfect match here. It's a formal site with in a provincial park that fits perfectly with our safety mandate. But there are other locations along here too, where, yeah, you know, we've got a site, we've got a site is needed and a site is available all through this route. So we got a potential here that we might actually be able to connect the dots with what we got already. But you can see there's other locations here where there are sites needed, and there is a site there, but it hasn't been assessed yet. So we don't know if it's suitable or not. And then we get into areas like this particular polygon here, where there's a couple sites tucked off in the corner, but it's really not optimally located. So basically what we're gonna have to do is scour this section of coast and see what's there. So basically our situation is right now, we know what we need. We know what where we need it. We know what sites needs to be assessed. And we know the areas of coast where we don't know where any sites are, but we need one. So we basically got a shopping list right now. And so what we're trying to do is recruit people who can go out and do a site assessment at these locations and just scout them out for us and get this done. So we're reaching out in the hopes that people will be motivated to plan a trip around these particular polygons. So we've been going through this a workshop process with people to get them trained as assessors, because there is particular information that we need about these sites when people go out, whether they're going to be suitable or not. So we've been walking people through a process. It's not particularly complicated. You could actually do an assessment probably within an hour at each site. So it's not a huge burden to go out and do these. Getting there might be tough, but if you're in an area of the coast for a kayaking trip, it would be huge to be able to contribute and help finish the marine trail system for us in the coast. I think there's about 45 priority polygons where we need to find a site and get people out to do assessments there. So it's very, very achievable. We could potentially have the framework for a marine trail system by the end of the summer. And if we do, we can take that to First Nations, work with them on the site selection that we've got, and potentially get approval for them all and be done to the minimal standards required for optimal safety. That's our goal at this point in time. And so think about it. And if you're, if this is of any interest to you, if you're planning a trip out to any of these areas or want to plan a trip, get in contact with me or Fred, who's on here tonight, or Jean as well. I saw that she was on. Anybody else within BC Marine Trails or anybody else within Siska to pass on the information to us on your interest. And hopefully we'll hear from a few people. Thank you very kindly.
Thanks very much, John. It's an exciting thought to get back to that area. It's a beautiful part of the province. And I'm sure I hope you hear from someone.